Whatever.
Hi Playmates, how are you? As I mentioned in my pre-Iris PvP tag team video, as well as my FC Iris summoning video, here I am with Iris leveled and geared up on my team to see what she's actually doing for my heroes and what she has done for PvP in general for me. And long story short, I like her. She definitely fits into my PvP playstyle and has been very helpful in making PvP less painful and a lot faster. There are some concerns that I have with her being as good as she is, which I'll mention a little bit later on in the video, but right now I'm just showcasing her as I climb up from Challenger 3 to Challenger 1. So I was trying to decide between whether to replace Anastasia or Shiprakin with Iris, and in the end decided with Anastasia. I had mentioned in my other videos because what they did for my team was very similar. And I think that choice was well made instead of replacing with Shiprakin. The first couple battles, I was trying to test out what would be the best method to go forward, depending on, if the opponent team had Iris as well, or if they didn't, and if they had any units that would benefit from me having Iris, and that being primarily First Guardian heroes, at least in these challenger levels. Overall, she drastically, like any dragon team hero, she really drastically shortened the time period. Any battles that would normally take 3+ minutes, maybe 5 minutes, now only take 1 minute, at most, usually, depending on the team. The only thing that kind of lengthens the battle is if I fail to kill their Iris and they kill my Iris first, so that their barriers are active while mine is not. That I think happened once in a match, and the other one was when I get bad RNG and Iris is killed, and I no longer have the barrier, and they kind of threw me off, so I lost another battle there. But overall, I found out that probably the best method is to kill off the Iris on the opponent's team first. Obviously, because they're neutralizing my barrier, I want to get rid of her first. And then I would follow up with Rara doing an AoE, as well as Bathory using her second skill to nullify the Summer's Blessing, so that if needed she could follow up with her third skill in order to kind of obliterate everyone, because Bathory on my team has the highest attack power out of anybody. No duh, because I want to keep the her passive Tranquil alive. The other thing that I've been really using a lot is Iris' second skill in order for that additional benefit and mana to my team as well. One of the best feelings is now being able to use AoE that I have not been able to use before, and seeing the damage. Really, you spend all this time gearing up your First Guardian heroes or your other units and was not able to use them. Now you are. And if you guys have been watching my videos, you know that my PvP style is kill them and kill them fast. Now it's kind of become that kind of game. And I've noticed, especially as I climbed up, in Challenger 1, it's pretty much Iris is a staple on any single team. And so you gotta really get rid of her fast. The faster you get rid of her, the faster you're able to make sure that your shields are active while theirs is not, and so it becomes a bit of a speed game. Thankfully, my Rara has, as you probably saw in all the clips, first dibs on attacking. So a lot of my units have been thankfully geared up enough that they are going ahead of the opponent's team in most cases. Not all, but most cases. I've noticed that especially as you go back into Challenger 1, Iris and Uku have been a combination that I've seen quite often. And more often than not, you do, at least for me, I've seen less Anastasias, and a lot of Anastasias have been replaced with Iris in any team composition. So as you see there again, another Iris and Ukun team, along with another, Bathory, Rara, and one, you know, single target character, whether that be what's his name, Raquel or Baraka. I've done a little bit of reading on what people thought about Iris, and it seems that I had to kind of agree with some of them, where this is kind of like a temporary band-aid on the situation instead of like a fix. Because like here, I just want to mention this is the one battle that I lost because, you know, I didn't see Iris being killed, and that kind of broke everything, and I wasn't playing smartly, and you know, the outcome of this was most likely that I was gonna die either way. But anyways, so a lot of people were saying that, you know, this is kind of like a ploy where Iris, you know, came out, you know, almost now is needed on a team in order to succeed. And if you don't have her, it kind of puts you that much of a disadvantage. And what they're probably gonna do then is to release another character later on, which you kind of have to get in order to make sure that you have relevance in PvP. For me, I kind of say, you know, we have to take it as we take it. You know, the game is still early on, at least here on the global server. So we have to kind of give them a little bit of time to figure things out. That's just my opinion. Hopefully they figure out the right way. Thus far, you know, besides the fact that their English is not the greatest, they have been very responsive to some of the feedback that we've been giving them. So hopefully things work out. For me, as I said, it made PvP less, you know, burdensome to do because the battles are so much faster. So it does encourage me to log in occasionally, you know, when the tickets regenerate in order to do those battles, and even between, you know, work or stuff like that, because it just doesn't take that long. I mean, I know that it's gonna finish quickly, and either, you know, I'm gonna kill them, which is thankfully right now the case, or I'm gonna get killed, and it's just that simple. No need to drag on for like 5-10 minutes to figure out what's gonna actually happen. So overall, having Iris, I think, has been very beneficial for me and made the game a lot more enjoyable. Thankfully, as you know, I didn't have to pity her. So I definitely understand from the point of view where a lot of players, where they haven't been able to pull her, seems kind of gypped in a sense. Whereas players like me that was able to pull her feel, you know, better because not only can the battles go faster, but the benefits of having geared up some of our units, like our first fighting units, now pays off because they're actually able to do damage onto the characters, onto the opponent's team. Iris is still part of the premium banner, so hopefully, you know, those that haven't been able to pull her on her specific banner will get lucky in the premium summons. Or, you know, in the future summons, like Glenn is out right now. I still haven't decided how many times I want to try to pull for him. I definitely do want to pull for him because he's a good character, you know, as the airship driver, captain, I should say. Somebody that I wanted to pull, and his look is definitely a lot different than his regular one, so it might be worth me pulling for. But what I'm really going for is Yao and Valentina, so I may not pull too much for them. But anyway, coming back to the topic, so, you know, for those of you guys that haven't been able to pull her yet, I would say, you know, not a 100% deal breaker in that, you know, you are, I think, still able to kill her off pretty fast on the opponent's team. So as long as you focus on that, there shouldn't be much of an issue, unless you're like severely underpowered or undergeared that you're not able to kill her in time, or you're hit with a really tanky provoke unit that, you know, you just can't out damage. Because other than that, you know, your PvP battles are pretty much going to be the same after she's gone. So here I just have a couple more battles left, tickets left, and it's just pretty much, as I mentioned before, a lot of the teams now do have Iris on their team. And I just said that, and this team doesn't have her. But really, I'm just really happy that she came out, and I'm happy that I have her, because just because it does make the battles a lot faster. And here, I probably should have used a stronger attack, but here's Rhea using her third skill, which again deals quite a lot of damage, but I just haven't been able to utilize. Now I'm glad that I am able to utilize it. And just so you know, these clips were taken, you know, throughout the day, not all at once. So I don't normally buy PvP tickets. I do wait for them to regenerate. I don't have like a huge eager ambition to raise up too high in the PvP ranks. Now I do know there's quite a lot of stats rewards once you climb up to the higher ranks, and I've never made it past Challenger 1 just because I haven't, you know, felt the need to. But now that I have Iris and the battles are going a lot faster, and I'm investing a little bit more into the gear of her, I may just go ahead and try raising up into a higher tier other than Challenger 1, and even making a video about it if possible. The one thing that I want to kind of consider now is, you know, this is all one-on-one battles. What's gonna happen in team tag battles? This kind of makes me wonder if maybe I should have pulled or tried to pull or pitied for another copy of her by pulling 9 more times, just because she does help out with a lot of team compositions. Right now it might not make much matter because a lot of teams, they don't have a strong second and third team in order to merit having a second copy of her. But, you know, thinking ahead, thinking of the future, where you are going to get more of these stronger units on the other teams, where, you know, as the game progresses, more people are going to have the first Guardian units that may be able to put them on, you know, second and third teams. Is it possible to have her? I think it's still a little bit too early in the game to know if that's really worth it or not. But one thing for sure is that if you don't have her, at least right now in the state of the game, she's definitely worth having. We don't know for sure if Valentina or if any of the other Summerfesta units that are still left will have the same passive as her. Well, you know, actually, don't most, you know, banner strings, they have the same passive, so Valentina most likely will have this passive. And me not having Valentina, I don't know how good she is on the team. I haven't seen her much in any PvP teams, so it might be interesting to see what would happen if Valentina came out with the same passive as Iris, and what that would do in terms of team composition. Again, like I said, I don't have the regular copy of Valentina, so I can't really say, but what I want to just conclude with is, Iris, I'm so glad I have you. I'm so glad you made my PvP life a lot of fun, and I hope that for any of those friends or other team members that don't have you yet, please grace them with your presence so that they can also have a little bit less agony in dealing with some of the other stinkier units out there. Well, that's all for me today, guys. Thanks for listening to my babbling. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.